we feel really good about the arguments today and the questions that were asked by the justices. But you know, we brought this case, and this case is so important. Maybe the most important case that this court has heard in 100 years, especially to our economy and to consumers and to businesses large and small. And that's why we brought this case, because number one, these tariffs are illegal. They were not predicated in the law or the Constitution, but most importantly, they are impacting the people of our states.
Forward. Karen.
Sorry, and a second question. President Trump said to CBS in the 60 Minutes interview that he did not know the Binance founder, which he pardoned. What exactly did he mean for that? I know it caused
He means he does not know him personally. He means he does not have a personal relationship with this individual. And when it comes to pardons, the White House takes them with the utmost seriousness, and the president understands the responsibility that he has as president to issue clemency and issue pardons to individuals who are seeking that.
All right, so let me ask you something. When was the last time you saw Trump's own former Attorney General, the guy who was supposed to have his back, come out and completely blow up the narrative that Trump's been pushing for years? Yeah, I'll wait, because that's exactly what just happened. And honestly, the fallout is absolutely insane. Bill Barr, remember him? Trump's hand-picked Attorney General, the guy who Trump thought would be his loyal soldier, the guy who stood by Trump through some of the most controversial moments of his first term. That Bill Barr just sat down with House investigators and dropped a bombshell testimony that has Trump world in complete chaos right now. And look, I know what you're thinking. Another day, another Trump controversy, right? But this one hits different. This isn't some random Democrat making accusations. This isn't the media spinning stories. This is Trump's own guy, under oath, telling a story that completely contradicts years of conspiracy theories and speculation that Trump himself has encouraged. But before we go any further, real quick, let's be honest. You can't really trust mainstream media anymore. That's why we built Pump Politics, to bring you real stories, real context, and no corporate spin. If you want to stay ahead of the headlines, join our free newsletter. We'll send the news straight to your inbox every day. Just click the link in the description to join. And if you just want to support what we're doing, join us, be part of the community that actually cares about the truth. All right, let's get back to the video.
That's why we have a very thorough review process here that moves with the Department of Justice and the White House counsel's office. There's a whole team of qualified lawyers who look at every single pardon request that ultimately make their way up to the President of the United States. He's the ultimate final decision maker. And he was very clear when he came into office that he was most interested in looking at pardoning individuals who were abused and used by the Biden Department of Justice and were over-prosecuted by a weaponized DOJ. And the individual you're referring to, that was certainly the case. Even the judge in his case said that the sentencing that the Biden administration was asking for was egregious and went too far. And so the president is correcting that wrong.
We're talking about Jeffrey Epstein. We're talking about what really happened the night Epstein died in federal custody. And we're talking about Trump's reaction when he found out. Barr just laid it all out there. Every detail, every conversation. And the Trump team's response? Absolutely chaotic. Defensive. Scrambling. Here's what makes this so wild. For years, literally years, Trump has been out there pushing for the so-called Epstein files to be released. He's been hinting at conspiracies. He's been suggesting there's more to the story. His supporters have been running wild with theories about who wanted Epstein dead and why. The hashtags, the speculation, the whole thing. And now Barr comes out and says under oath that he briefed Trump personally, that he showed Trump the evidence, that surveillance footage proved no one entered Epstein's cell, that everything pointed to suicide, and that Trump's reaction was basically, how did this happen under federal watch? Can you believe this? The guy who appointed Barr, the guy who trusted Barr to run the Department of Justice, that guy just became Trump's biggest problem this week because Barr isn't playing the game anymore. He's not protecting Trump. He's not spinning narratives. He's just telling what he says is the truth. And that truth is making Trump look, well, not great. Social media exploded. And I mean exploded. Within hours of this testimony dropping, you had hashtags trending everywhere. Epstein cover-up, Trump Barr. The whole internet lost its mind. Trump's team immediately went into damage control mode, calling it a nothing burger, saying Democrats are just trying to distract from other issues. The usual playbook. But here's the thing. This isn't landing the way Trump's team hoped, because people are asking questions, real questions, like if Barr is lying, why would Trump have kept him as Attorney General? If Barr is telling the truth, why has Trump been pushing conspiracy theories about Epstein for years? And if there's nothing to hide, Why is the Trump team so defensive right now? This story matters. Not just because it's dramatic, which it absolutely is, but because we're watching in real time as Trump's credibility takes another hit from his own former cabinet member, under oath, with receipts, and the timing. Oh man, the timing couldn't be worse for Trump. He's trying to control the news cycle. He's dealing with multiple legal battles. He's got Democrats in Congress using every bit of internal Trump world drama they can find to challenge his trustworthiness. And now this. Barr basically just said, I never saw evidence linking Trump to Epstein, which should be good news for Trump, right? Except Trump spent so much time stoking conspiracy theories and playing games with this topic that now even when someone clears him, it backfires because it makes Trump look like he's been manipulating his base with false narratives. So yeah, we need to talk about this. We need to break down exactly what Barr said, what Trump's team is saying in response, why this is causing such chaos, and what it means for Trump moving forward, because this isn't just another news cycle scandal. This is a former attorney general basically calling out the president's conspiracy mongering, and that's huge. Stick with me, because what I'm about to show you is going to make your head spin. The details of this testimony, the reactions, the political implications, it's all coming together in a way that shows just how unstable things are in Trump's inner circle right now. You know what's crazy? Trump has had this pattern throughout his political career. He surrounds himself with people he thinks are loyal, people who will do whatever he asks, people who won't question him, and then inevitably, those same people end up turning on him, or at the very least, they end up telling the truth when it matters most. And that truth almost always contradicts whatever Trump's been saying publicly. We've seen it with John Bolton. We've seen it with John Kelly. We've seen it with Omarosa. We've seen it with Michael Cohen. The list goes on and on. But Barr was different. Barr was the guy who seemed truly loyal. The guy who made controversial decisions that protected Trump. The guy who Democrats accused of being Trump's personal lawyer instead of America's attorney general. And now even Barr is out here contradicting Trump's narrative. That should tell you something. That should make you wonder what's really going on behind the scenes. Because if the most loyal guy in the room is now speaking out, what does that say about Trump? Let's dive in. Okay, so let's get into what actually happened here. Because the details matter. And honestly, most people are completely missing the real story. Bill Barr sat down for a deposition with House investigators. This was part of an ongoing probe into Epstein's death and how the whole thing was handled. And Barr, who was Attorney General when Epstein died in August 2019, gave them everything, the full timeline, the conversations with Trump, the evidence he reviewed, all of it. And here's where it gets interesting. Barr told investigators that he personally reviewed the surveillance footage from the night Epstein died. He said the video was, and I'm quoting here, the definitive proof. He said it showed substantial evidence regarding Epstein's mental state and other physical indicators pointing to suicide. And crucially, the footage showed no outsiders entering Epstein's cell that night. Now think about that for a second. Barr is saying he watched the footage, he reviewed the evidence, and everything pointed to suicide. No mystery, no conspiracy, no secret hit squad, sneaking into a federal prison. Just a high-profile prisoner who took his own life while guards weren't paying attention. But here's what makes this testimony so explosive. Barr also described the conversation he had with Trump when he broke the news. And this is where Trump's team started freaking out. According to Barr, he called Trump that morning and said, "You better brace for this. Epstein just died in custody." In Trump's reaction, Barr says Trump responded with, "How the hell did that happen? He's in federal custody." Basically the same reaction Barr had, like genuine shock and confusion about how someone so high profile could die while being watched by federal authorities. Now on the surface, that sounds pretty normal, right? Like, of course Trump would be shocked and confused. But here's why this is a problem for Trump. Because for years now, Trump has been encouraging speculation about Epstein's death. He's retweeted conspiracy theories. He's made vague comments suggesting there's more to the story. He's basically fed into the idea that something sinister happened, and his base ate it up. The conspiracy theories went wild. People started connecting dots that didn't exist, blaming political enemies, creating elaborate scenarios about who wanted Epstein silenced and why. It became this whole thing, a massive part of online political discourse. You couldn't mention Epstein without someone bringing up theories about Clinton or other powerful figures. But now Barr is saying, under oath, that Trump knew the truth from day one, that Trump was briefed on the evidence, that Trump saw what Barr saw, and that Trump never questioned the suicide conclusion at the time. He never asked Barr to investigate it as a murder. He never pushed back on the findings. Nothing. So why has Trump been pushing conspiracy theories ever since? That's the question everyone's asking now. And Trump's team doesn't have a good answer. They can't say Barr is lying without undermining Trump's judgment in appointing him. They can't say Trump was misled because Barr is saying he showed Trump everything. They're stuck. Look, here's what most people don't understand about this situation. Trump has always used conspiracy theories as a political weapon. It's part of his playbook. Keep people guessing. Keep people suspicious of institutions. Keep people believing that nothing is as it seems. It's effective until it's not. And right now, it's not. Because Barr just pulled back the curtain. He showed that Trump knew the truth, but chose to push conspiracies anyway. And that's a credibility problem. A big one. But wait, there's more. And this is where it gets even messier. Barr also testified that he never saw any evidence linking Trump to Epstein's crimes. He said flat out, there was nothing there. No photos, no flight logs showing Trump on Epstein's plane to the island. Nothing that would suggest Trump participated in or knew about Epstein's illegal activities. Now you think Trump will be celebrating this, right? His own attorney general just cleared him under oath. This is the kind of exoneration Trump usually parades around for weeks. But instead, Trump's team is downplaying the whole thing, calling it a distraction, saying Democrats are making a big deal out of nothing. Why? Because if Trump acknowledges Barr's testimony, he has to acknowledge that Barr is telling the truth about everything else too, including the part about Epstein's death being a suicide. And Trump doesn't want to do that. Because admitting that means admitting he's been misleading his supporters for years. Can you see the trap Trump's in right now? He can't embrace Barr's testimony without undermining his own narrative. But he also can't attack Barr too hard, because Barr was his guy, his pick, his attorney general, the man he trusted with the most powerful legal position in the country. So what does Trump's team do? They try to ignore it. They put out weak statements about Democrats and distractions. They hope the news cycle moves on. But it's not working. Because this testimony is too damning, too detailed, too specific. And here's another layer to this. Barr's testimony comes at a time when Trump is already facing massive scrutiny. Legal battles on multiple fronts, congressional investigations, public opinion shifting in some areas. This is not the moment Trump needed his former attorney general to go public with information that makes him look manipulative and untrustworthy. Let's talk about the political implications here, because this isn't just about Epstein. It's about Trump's relationship with truth, with his supporters, with his own former staff members. Think about it. How many people from Trump's first term have now turned on him or distanced themselves? How many have written books, given interviews, testified under oath? The list is long, and every time it happens, Trump loses a little more credibility with certain voters. Barr is just the latest, but Barr is significant because Barr was supposed to be the ultimate loyalist. He defended Trump through impeachment. He made controversial decisions that benefited Trump politically. He was criticized heavily by Democrats and even some Republicans for being too close to Trump, for acting more like Trump's personal attorney than the nation's attorney general. And now even Barr is out here saying, yeah, Trump knew the truth and pushed conspiracies anyway. That's brutal. That's the kind of thing that sticks. That's the kind of thing that makes people question everything else Trump says. You know what else is wild about this? The timing. This testimony dropped right as Trump is trying to navigate a critical period. He needs his base energized. He needs independents to trust him. He needs his legal troubles to fade into the background. He needs Republicans in Congress to stay unified behind him. Instead, he gets Bill Barr reminding everyone that Trump plays fast and loose with facts when it suits him politically, that Trump will stoke conspiracy theories even when he knows better, that Trump's word can't always be trusted. That's not the message Trump wants out there right now. And social media is having a field day with this. The memes, the commentary, the analysis, it's everywhere. Trump world is scrambling to control the narrative, but they're losing because the story is too juicy, too ironic, too perfect. Trump's most loyal attorney general just became his biggest liability. And there's no easy way out of this one. No simple spin that makes this go away. No distraction big enough to bury this story. Here's what Trump's team is trying to do right now. They're attempting to reframe this as a Democrat witch hunt. They're saying the House investigation is politically motivated. They're claiming Barr is being taken out of context or misrepresented. They're trying to shift focus to other issues, but it's not working. Because Barr's testimony is public. People can read it themselves, and what he said is pretty clear. No ambiguity, no wiggle room. Just straightforward answers to straightforward questions. He described conversations, he cited evidence, he explained his reasoning, and those answers make Trump look bad. Really bad. They make him look like someone who knowingly spreads false information for political gain. Someone who manipulates his supporters' beliefs for his own benefit. someone who can't be trusted to tell the truth, even on serious matters. So where does this leave us? With a political firestorm that's not going away anytime soon, with Trump's credibility taking another hit, and with his own former cabinet members continuing to create problems for him. This is the chaos of Trump world, where loyalty only goes one way until it doesn't, where truth is whatever Trump says it is until someone with receipts says otherwise, where every news cycle brings a new disaster, where the people who were supposed to protect Trump end up being the ones who damage him most. And Bill Barr just added fuel to the fire. A lot of fuel. All right, let's break this down into simple terms. Because when you cut through all the noise, this story comes down to a few key points, and each one matters. Each one has implications. Each one tells us something important about where we are politically. Point 1. Bill Barr just testified under oath that Trump was fully briefed on Epstein's death, that Trump saw the evidence, that Trump knew it was suicide, and that Trump's initial reaction was shock, not suspicion, not conspiracy thinking, just genuine surprise that someone so important could die in federal custody. Why does this matter? Because it proves Trump has been playing games with this topic for years. He's pushed conspiracy theories, he's encouraged speculation, he's hinted at cover-ups, he's let his supporters believe there was something more sinister going on, all while knowing the actual truth. That's manipulation, that's dishonesty, and it's now on the record, under oath, from his own Attorney General. Point 2. Barr also cleared Trump of any connection to Epstein's crimes. He said under oath that he never saw evidence linking Trump to Epstein's illegal activities. No photos, no flight logs, nothing that would implicate Trump in the horrible things Epstein did. Now this should be good news for Trump, right? This should be something Trump celebrates, something he broadcasts to everyone. Except Trump can't fully embrace it, because embracing Barr's testimony means accepting that Barr is credible and truthful. And if Barr is credible and truthful, then his testimony about the conspiracy theories is also credible and truthful. Trump's in a bind. He's caught between wanting exoneration and not wanting to admit he's been lying. Point 3. The Trump team's response has been weak and chaotic. Instead of a strong, clear rebuttal, they're calling it a nothing burger. They're blaming Democrats. They're trying to change the subject. That's not the response of a team confident in their position. That's not the response of people who have truth on their side. That's the response of a team that knows they're caught, that knows they don't have good answers. And point 4, this comes at the worst possible time for Trump. He's fighting legal battles. He's dealing with internal Republican conflicts. He's trying to maintain authority and credibility as president. And now his own former attorney general is undermining him publicly, creating doubt, raising questions, making Trump look dishonest. So what's really happening here? Let me tell you what I think is going on, what this really represents. Trump built his political brand on being unpredictable, on questioning everything, on making people believe that the system is rigged and only he can fix it. Conspiracy theories are part of that brand. They keep his base engaged. They create an us versus them mentality. They make Trump look like the truth teller fighting against a corrupt establishment. But there's a problem with that strategy. Eventually, people want actual truth, not theories, not speculation, not hints and winks. They want facts. They want evidence. They want reality. And when someone like Bill Barr, who was on Trump's team, comes out and says the conspiracy theories are false, it undermines everything. Trump's base might still believe him. They've believed him through worse. They've stuck with him through scandals and controversies that would have destroyed other politicians. But independents, moderates, people on the fence, they're watching this and thinking, if his own attorney general is calling him out, maybe Trump isn't as trustworthy as he claims. And that's devastating politically, because Trump needs those voters. He can't govern effectively with just his hardcore base. He needs people who are willing to give him the benefit of the doubt, who are willing to believe him when he makes claims. And Barr's testimony makes that harder, much harder. Let's talk about what comes next, because this story isn't over, not by a long shot. Democrats in Congress are going to use this testimony in every investigation, every hearing, every press conference. They're going to point to Barr's words and say, see, even Trump's own people know he's been lying. It's going to be a constant talking point, a constant reminder, a weapon they'll use over and over. Trump's opponents are going to run ads. They're going to create content. They're going to make sure voters remember that Bill Barr, Trump's attorney general, testified that Trump pushed false conspiracy theories. They're going to hammer this home, make it stick, make it part of the narrative about Trump. And Trump, he's going to do what he always does, attack, deflect, change the subject. He'll probably go after Barr, personally, call him a Reno, say he was never really loyal, say he was always part of the establishment, try to discredit him, make Barr the villain, instead of addressing the substance of what Barr said. But here's the thing, It's getting harder for Trump to discredit everyone who speaks out against him. When it's one person, he can call them a liar. When it's 5 people, he can call them disgruntled. But when it's dozens of former staff members, cabinet officials, and allies, at some point, people start wondering if maybe Trump is the problem, if maybe all these people can't be wrong. Barr's testimony is just another brick in that wall. Another person saying, yeah, Trump isn't always honest. Another example of Trump prioritizing political narratives over truth. Another crack in the foundation of Trump's credibility. And the Epstein angle makes it even more damaging, because this isn't about policy disagreements or political strategy. This is about Trump knowingly pushing false information about a highly sensitive topic involving a convicted predator. That's ugly. That's the kind of thing that sticks in people's minds. That's the kind of thing that makes people uncomfortable. Here's what I think is the bigger picture. Trump is discovering that the tactics that worked in his first term don't work as well now. People are tired. They're more skeptical. They've seen this movie before. They know the patterns. And when his own former officials start contradicting him publicly, it's harder to maintain the illusion, harder to control the narrative. Barr could have stayed quiet. He could have refused to testify. He could have given vague answers. He could have protected Trump like he did so many times before. But he didn't. He was specific. He was detailed. He was clear. And that tells you something about where Barr's head is at. He's done protecting Trump. He's done playing games. He's just laying out what he says happened. And for Trump, that's a nightmare. Because Barr isn't some random critic. He's not a Democrat. He's not a never-Trumper. He's not someone who's always opposed Trump. He was Trump's guy, his pick, his defender. And now he's on the record saying Trump misled people. That's powerful. That's damaging. So what's the bottom line here? Trump's credibility takes another hit. His former attorney general just testified that Trump pushed conspiracy theories he knew were false. Social media is on fire. Democrats are weaponizing this. Republicans are uncomfortable. And Trump's team can't come up with a good response. This is chaos. This is Trump world imploding in real time, and it's not going to get better anytime soon, because this testimony is out there now. It's public, it's permanent, and it's going to follow Trump. Look, I know some of you are thinking this won't matter, that Trump supporters will stick with him no matter what. And you're probably right about the hardcore base. They've stuck with him through everything else. They'll stick with him through this. But elections aren't won with just the base. They're won with persuadable voters, with people in the middle, with people who can be swayed. And persuadable voters are watching this mess and thinking, do I really trust this guy? Do I really believe what he says? Can I really support someone whose own cabinet members keep contradicting him? Those are the questions that matter. Those are the questions that determine political outcomes. That's the real danger for Trump. Not that this one testimony destroys him, but that it's another piece of evidence in a growing pile that says Trump can't be trusted, that he'll say anything, that he'll push any narrative if it benefits him politically, that loyalty to Trump doesn't mean Trump is loyal back, that working for Trump eventually means getting thrown under the bus or speaking out. And Bill Barr just made that case stronger, much stronger. He gave Democrats ammunition. He gave skeptics proof. He gave everyone a reason to question Trump's honesty. And he did it all under oath, which makes it harder for Trump to dismiss or spin. We're also seeing something else here. We're seeing the long-term consequences of Trump's leadership style. The way he demands absolute loyalty, but gives none in return. The way he burns bridges with anyone who doesn't do exactly what he wants. The way he treats people as disposable. It all catches up eventually. And right now it's catching up fast. Because when you treat people the way Trump has treated his staff and cabinet members, eventually they stop protecting you. Eventually they tell their side of the story. Eventually they testify under oath about what really happened. And that's what we're seeing with Barr. We'll see where this goes. But right now, Trump's got a problem. A big one. And it's got Bill Barr's name all over it. The testimony is damaging. The timing is terrible. The political implications are significant. And there's no easy fix. This isn't going away. This is going to be part of the conversation for weeks, maybe months. It's going to come up in hearings, in investigations, in political debates, in news coverage. Barr's words are going to be quoted over and over. And every time they are, Trump looks worse. That's the reality Trump is facing. His own attorney general just became a weapon against him. And there's nothing he can do about it, except attack and deflect, which is exactly what he'll do. But it won't change what Barr said. It won't erase the testimony. It won't make the problem go away. Stay tuned, because if you think this is wild, just wait until you see what breaks next. Trump world never disappoints when it comes to drama. There's always another scandal, always another controversy, always another former official speaking out. And based on the pattern we're seeing, Barr won't be the last. The walls are closing in. The former allies are talking. And Trump's credibility is taking hit after hit. This is the story. This is what matters. And this is what we'll be talking about for a long time to come.